Welcome to the 90th Minute Whistle podcast. I am your host, Mario. I'm here with my host, Leon.
Hello.
Yeah, so it's been interesting. In all fairness, to be honest, a boring week of football, or I wouldn't say boring, but a
Yeah,
predictable week of football.
maybe predictable.
No, I'm talking the international break. I'm not talking about the weekend that
Oh,
was
the week.
past. And you're just saying that because Chelsea beat Leicester 3.
So that's 7.
It could have been 7, yeah, but the offsides are actually correct.
Yeah, and hit the post. So can't complain about
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
so that's 7.
And again, I'm not talk based on my fan with me. I look on everything that happened throughout the
That's like
football world.
did you predict United getting 4 from Watford?
Yeah. Not 4, but like I expect them to lose.
Really?
Leon, what did I tell you at the beginning of the season about Manchester United? I do not fear them. I told you they're going to compete for 4th place at best. I said that you can't. I never said that at the beginning of the season.
That is true. You did say that, yes.
At best, they were going to compete for 4th place. And City cannot compete with Chelsea without a proper striker.
You really feel they can't compete with a proper striker? Because we haven't had a proper striker.
No, but we have access to them. You get what I'm saying? City now have a choice. When they brought in Gabriel Jesus, they brought him in as a left winger. When he was playing at Palmeiras,
yes,
he was a left winger.
He was never a striker.
Was never an out-and-out striker. But I thought that was a right idea because we know that Pep can use false nines very well.
Yeah, but he doesn't play Jesus through the middle at City. He plays him on the right.
No, I'm talking at the beginning of Jesus.
Oh, yes,
City
he played him through the middle.
Yeah, so it never worked out long term because again, Jesus is not an out-and-out striker. And the reason he works well for Brazil through the middle is because again, Brazil's front four doesn't stay still.
Yeah, but Pep team rotates as well.
Yeah, but but again, for Brazil, like he has Neymar in the squad who's going to get a lot more attention than him. In City's front three, there's no one person that is so identified or so marked out of the game because, in all fairness, I think Mahrez has gotten comfortable at City. Yes, so he's not the threat. He's not the threat that he used to be. He's not that hungry threat that he used to be. Jesus is inconsistent because again he's not a natural striker, and nobody fears Sterling. Nobody feared Sterling in the first place.
True.
As a matter of fact, the season where Sterling had that amazing season, it's because no one feared him.
And to be fair, Pep's system allowed them to score lots of tapping. And he also has Sane, who was more defenders paid more attention.
Exactly. That goes back to the fear factor. Then look what happened the following season now when people start paying attention to Sterling.
Yeah, the goal output dropped. But as we all know, in a Pep Guardiola's team, you will score
Anybody
goals.
can look good. Anybody can look good.
Anybody, yeah. Because the system makes you look good. You just follow the instructions. You know,
exactly.
You don't have to do much thinking. You just follow the instructions.
Exactly. Like I said, the amount of people who look like they were going to be the next Lionel Messi, the next Cristiano Ronaldo coming out of Barca's academy, the next Xavi, the next Iniesta. We can name thousands of them, but I've done that on the podcast too much. Just quickly, the international break. What do you think so far?
Italy surprised me. I thought they were going to get a showing qualifications. I did not see Italy going to playoffs. But I think it's a testament to how hard it is. How hard European qualifiers are when compared to other regions. I think a lot of persons say, oh, them just playing San Marino and Macedonia and all these countries where you even count, but persons don't understand that outside of your San Marinos and your North Macedonians and all these teams that when you put them together, the total population maybe reach 4 million.
Yeah.
The big teams are really big.
Yeah, but
You
even
know,
not the
your
big teams, but
Belgiums,
even
your Denmarks, your
no,
Swedens, your
but yeah,
those
like those
like your
teams
A tier and your B tier is
are
so
very
like
competitive.
so good
No, but I
that
would
if
say the
you're not on
same.
your A game, you're out.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I do want to combat you on the idea of compared to other regions because I was watching the African qualifiers a lot, and no, of course, I do have a bias towards Africa. Let me at least. I mean, I should have shown that on this podcast before. I do have a bias towards African football, but Ivory Coast aren't going to the World Cup for a second time, and they have a very talented team. And it
Yeah,
goes back to
but
what
Ivory Coast doesn't surprise me because they are in a sense rebuilding the team and they
I
have
wouldn't say
not
that. I
done
wouldn't say that.
much since their
I wouldn't
last
say that.
the last World Cup qualifiers to show that they can make it to another World Cup. They didn't show anything
Of course,
in the last
they
qualifier.
went to the Cup of Nations semi-finals.
Yeah, but it's the Cup of Nations, man. Come on.
No, but you see, this is what I don't understand. What the credit what you're giving for Europe a while ago should be given to Africa as well. That's why I
No, I
said that.
know Africa is hard, but let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
You have at least 3 to 4 big teams who are traditional World Cup teams that might not make it to the World Cup this year in Europe.
I would say the same for Africa. Ivory Coast is a World Cup team at all
Ivory Coast is
times.
on the chopping block, but who else is on the chopping block? Let's be honest. And then you need to also watch that when Ivory
Cameroon,
Coast
well,
was dominant.
hold on, stop. Let me answer your question. Cameroon was on the chopping block. They actually beat Ivory Coast to qualify. That was an exciting match. Egypt, Morocco, not Morocco, the other North African country, Algeria, they almost did not qualify. They had to beat.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
but
try to remember
Algeria
them.
has been hit and run in World Cups for the past couple of years. They make this World Cup, they don't make the next World Cup. They're always a yo-yo team when it comes on to making the World Cup. Like when you
No,
talk about African teams that
yeah,
you expect to see, you expect to see Ghana, you expect to see Cameroon, Nigeria, Ivory Coast. These are teams that you expect to see at the World Cup because
yes,
they
and
are
hold on, Leon,
household.
hold on, Leon. Yes, these households names, they're all under threat. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Yes, because I was just about to say that when these teams are very dominant in African football,
Mm-hmm.
the other teams weren't as good as they are. But now you've seen, and you can back this up, the depth across all of Africa has gotten to a point where their World Cup qualifiers is not a walk in the park for these traditional World Cup big teams. You have
That's the only
other
point I was
teams
trying.
that
Yeah, that's the point I was trying.
now have the quality to match them, toe for toe to, your Senegals, your Egypts, all of these teams are back on track where they are. They
Algeria,
were
Oh
always
my God, Morocco is
Morocco,
killing
yes,
it
they
right.
were always yo-yo.
Tunisia, yo, you realize that
Ah,
Tunisia is killing. Tunisia is right now better than Ghana.
so that's the thing. So these were always yo-yo teams, they make it to this World Cup, but they miss the next 2 or 3. Like, Algeria, they make it to this World Cup, but they miss the next one. They qualify again for the other one. But now you're seeing a consistent quality across all of Africa that makes the qualifiers a lot more competitive, a lot
But
harder.
I would say that across world football now. Because if you even go to Asia right now, and I granted Asia and the Middle East are connected in terms of qualifying,
Yeah,
Japan will
but
never be third. Japan will
yes,
never be third.
Japan and Korea will never be certain.
No, I
I
wouldn't say
think those are
Korea.
two
I wouldn't say
teams that
I wouldn't say Korea. I wouldn't
South
say Korea.
Korea that never. South Korea is they're sitting pretty good.
No. I'm not
Japan
saying
and
that there's.
South Korea, I think, are
Hold
the
on, hold
teams
on, hold on,
that will
hold on.
always qualify.
No, here's the thing. I wouldn't say that for South Korea. South Korea are on the brink of not qualifying. Japan are untouchable because of their league. Granted, the Korean league is also big in Asia. It's the second biggest league in Asia. But
Oops. Nope,
their national team.
South Korea is good. They
No,
have almost a
Leon,
60. They have a 7-point lead on third.
No, Leon, no. What I'm saying is, you're saying that South Korea will always qualify. That's the
They
part I
actually
disagree with.
is second in their group.
No, I'm not talking about right now. You're saying that South Korea will always be able to qualify. The reason why I
Yes.
disagree with that is because they're not producing footballers at the same rate. are quality footballers at the same rate. That's why I said they may qualify this time because they still have the Wang Min songs, they still have the G Don ones, they still have a couple of youngsters. The guy from Wolves, who's been he's been stepping up as well. He's the guy that they bought from Leipzig, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's one of the guys who are stepping up now. But there's been a lot of failures in terms of players that were supposed to be a part of this generation. Been a lot of different failures. That's why I said that I haven't seen the new generation of South Koreans, even within their own league, that can step up, even if they don't make it to a Wang Min San or a Ji-sung Park level. You know, them can still make it up to. You remember the right winger that used to play for Bolton, Lee Chung-young?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even see another him where he can play at Bolton Wanderers and, you know, stay mid-table. You get what I'm saying? I don't see a lot of those products anymore. Because remember, G-Don won at Sunderland. And his favorite team to score against was Man City. So they were producing at a high rate. Japan's production line will never cut, or it doesn't seem like it will ever cut. The South Koreans, I'm worried about going forward. I know that right now them govern. Nobody not touch them right now. Them govern. But going forward, I'm not seeing that production. I remember when Ki Sung-young was at Celtic and then moved to Swansea.
Yes.
He was all in that same generation with Wang Min Son. Because Wang Min Son was at Hamburg, then at Leverkusen, now at Tottenham. We're not seeing that even production, like, because Ki Sung-young never lived up to expectations. He ended up on Newcastle and get relegated with them, right? So I'm not saying that they have to live up to the expectation, but I'm not seeing that pipeline anymore. Like, I'm seeing 1 and 2 people, but I'm not seeing that pipeline anymore. Where Japanese talent is just being shit out right now. Kamada at Frankfurt is their attacking midfielder. We know Takefusa Kuba at Real Madrid, and he's out on loan right now to Mallorca. We know that Barca still have Hiroki Abe, who's a young winger coming out of the academy. But you can see Japan's pipeline. It's just what I'm saying. Like, I want to see South Korea's pipeline or new pipeline of players coming out. So going forward, I kind of not trust them. All right. I don't want to stick on this too long. Anything else that you learned from the international break?
Other than is looking good.
Other than that, and other than the fact that Jamaica need to stop trying to force themselves to use a 4-3. Jamaica has that. Jamaica, no. Leon,
hey, man,
Jamaica.
we should have won that match. We should have won that match.
No, but Leon, that's my point.
We should have won that match.
No, Leon, you're making my point.
We did score.
No, but Leon,
score the winning goal.
No, Leon, you're making my point, you know. Everything we're about to say. No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Leon, you're making my point. You're making my point, you know. I am not saying that Jamaica played bad, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We would have played better if we used a 3-4-3 because we have the players.
Yes, but you see, the point is you are asking, how do I make this so polite?
No, but Leon, the players can play that formation, and it's not like you're playing players who can't play it. Yes.
Can you believe the coach can coach that? I don't.
Yes.
You have too much faith in this coach. That's the problem.
No, but Leon, Tapa has had, again, I don't think that Tapa is the wrong coach, you know. I think he's trying to do the wrong things. I think he has the ability to coach it. I think he's just trying to do the, how would I put this now? He can coach the formation, you know. He's just trying to fit square pegs into round holes. You have the, all right, put it this way. You have the answers to the question. The problem is you want to answer it in your own way. And sometimes you just have to write the right answer on the paper and not make it be about you. Because remember, you know, he's passed. All right,
I have the formula ready to complete the problem, but you want
and you have the one time I could have said you're not the players then. Now you have the players then.
Yes, you have the players then. Yes.
Yeah, there's so why would you bring back
and qualifiers are still in our hands. We can still qualify.
Yeah, even as a playoff team. But that's why I said
something none of us in our generation has ever seen.
I mean, technically,
98. Yes, we were born, but come on.
No. I was
Yes,
at the
you were
stadium.
there, but the
I
point
was
is,
at the
sir.
stadium, sir.
Can you remember that? Can you remember that? Can you remember that?
Sir, I was at the stadium, sir. My
Can
father
you
reminds me of
remember
that all
that?
the My father reminds me of it all the time.
Yes,
Like, he
your
reminds me of it
father
all the
reminds
time.
you, but can you remember it?
I remember being in the truck. I don't remember anything about the match. I remember being in the truck. My father bought me a whistle. He bought me a whistle.
So
Granted, I don't think you should buy a baby. I don't think you should buy a 2-year-old whistle or a 1.5-year-old whistle. But he buy me a whistle. That's the only thing I remember from it. And I still have the book with the pamphlet.
Yeah.
I still have the pamphlet. I have 2 pamphlets. I have one from the US match, which is the one that we qualified in our draw at home.
Mhm.
And I have the one with a USA match that we drew here as well at the National Stadium. Do I remember the details of the match? Hell no. I shouldn't have been allowed in the stadium. My father actually did have to talk to the security one away, make him know, say, all right, we couldn't find a babysitter. He's a 1-year-old. His ears not for day in the stadium.
No.
Without a headphone on.
Yes, that's too. And if you know Jamaicans, that's a loud stadium.
Loud fuck, and it's not like no when we did that lose or not. This is when Jamaica did at the heights, so the stadium loud.
Yes.
And this is when man a jump stadium wall.
Play and the drums and the
man a jump stadium wall from the ghetto is around stadium.
So
man a jump stadium wall and man, them time. But my father I only remember being in the truck. That's literally the only thing I remember. That's the only thing I remember. And I remember the whistle. I remember my father giving me a whistle. But
I told you to play with you.
Some for keep occupied, I guess, while I'm not sure what. And him give me the pump. But I know something did that. My father
now we need one where we are conscious and we can watch of the match.
True.
So I've never seen Jamaica play at a World Cup. I would like to see that before I die. Preferably a time when I can go and buy the ticket to go and watch them play in our World Cup.
Although for the 2026 one is being held in CONCACAF, so that's all right.
Being held in CONCACAF. Perfect.
Yeah. It's being shared between US and Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody fact check me on that if you want.
Oh, that World Cup, yes, between Canada, US, and Mexico.
Yeah, it's going to be shared between them. Yeah, it's 20. That's the 2026 one.
I want them to put the final in Mexico.
I think it would be at Madison Square Garden.
Yes, I believe it's going to be in the United States. But I want
like the US not gonna make that. The US not gonna make it up now.
I want it to be Mexico.
No, I'm with you.
The Azteca.
No, I am with you. I am with you.
The US will. That is a cauldron of football right there.
Yeah, but guess what? USA not gonna make that happen. Too much NFL stadium there. Too much MLS stadium there. And in all fairness, the MLS uses a lot of baseball fields.
Yes, but those stadiums are not cauldrons of football.
Oh, no, Leon, that's what I said. I am with you.
The Azteca was designed from the ground up.
For football.
The fans
even the way the noise.
The fans can reach out and touch the stadium, touch the pitch.
Like even the way the stadium is
built,
the noise.
Cauldron of football.
Exactly. That's how I'm saying I don't disagree with you.
The Mercedes stadium that Atlanta uses is kind of look really.
No, because that was the only one. Because that was specifically built for Atlanta United.
Yes, I wouldn't mind if the World Cup is held, the finals is held there, because that stadium is top 10 stadium in the entire world.
There's a reason why I brought out MSG to the argument. The US will not allow a World Cup for keeping them home and them now have the final at one of the most major historical stadiums, for them history. So it might be long. No, when I say history, I don't mean football history. I don't mean our soccer history. I am talking about in their history. What are the stadiums in their history? Madison Square Garden, Staples Center, Lambeau Field for the Green Bay Packers. And what the Steelers stadium name? Lucas Oil, I think, is the Indiana Colts. Whatever the Steelers stadium is, the US are going to try and put it somewhere that is their historical land.
Heinz Field.
Yeah, so they are going to try.
None of these are
designed for football. No, I don't disagree.
Football.
I don't disagree.
You literally have to how far you are sitting from the field. It's awful for football viewing. That's why I said the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I think it's the best one there for the final.
Like I said, I don't disagree with that, but what I'm saying is that I don't see them I see them putting it in a well-known stadium. Even if they have to do something to design the field, because again, there's a lot of MLS teams that play on baseball pitches.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. I think like, all right, because
that's why I brought up MSG. That's why I brought up
it's
MSG.
because the Mercedes-Benz Stadium was designed for football, the MLS and NFL, but it's also one of those NFL stadiums where the seats are very close to the pitch.
Leon, you're thinking about this from a football perspective. That's why I don't disagree.
And plus, it has it can hold 71,000. The perfect stadium for
Leon. Stadium. Again, Leon, you talk about all of the footballing reasons. The US, and again, you're correct on that part, you know.
No,
all of
the football reasons in the US. This is a stadium in the US.
No, Leon. I understand what you say, and I don't disagree with it either. I agree with what you're saying, you know. What I am arguing is that despite all of that, the US are going to make it a money thing.
Yeah, but FIFA pick the
and final. FIFA are going to pick based on money as well. So they're going to argue, or for example, the UFC. You want to know why the UFC keeps certain events at Madison Square Garden or certain fight cards there? It's not just because there's bigger stadiums, you know. Yas Island, you remember the stadium that they built in Dubai? That shit bigger than Madison Square Garden, you know? And that's strictly built for the UFC, you know. On Yas Island, Fight Island is literally built for the UFC, but they still keep certain fights at Madison Square Garden because of the name that it carries. It's Madison Square Garden. They will build a football field if necessary. That's what I'm saying. Like,
build a football field if it's necessary.
That's why I say, like, I don't disagree with all of the football reasons why you told me that Atlanta Stadium is the best for the finals. I don't disagree with that. But you say like all that.
Looking.
Oh no, again, me not disagree with none of what I say. My point is that the US and FIFA are interested in money and names, brand names. So,
but how are you going to twist this up? Because Mexico is traditionally a better footballing post than the States. And if there's any country in CONCACAF that deserves to hold the final, it's Mexico. If you're looking at a pure footballing reason.
Yeah, but they're also, they've held a World Cup before. Mexico's hosted one way.
Canada too. Like there's one thing that is probably going to work against the Azteca, and is the altitude.
No, but again, footballers aren't afraid of that. That's actually a part of it.
True.
As a matter of fact, and you wouldn't escape that. Give me a second.
In the world.
Exactly. But that's why I said, that's why I brought up MSG to, you know. MSG in terms of known during the world, like known around the world. The Azteca, like the MSG is the only place in America where they would say, all right, name 2 stadiums, whether it is football or not. Name 4 stadiums in a CONCACAF that you know. The Madison Square Garden, the Azteca, and you probably name the Staples Center because the Los Angeles Lakers. And that I get a name change to, you know, because
crypto.com.
So that I got be a problem as well. And you would run from the altitude thing because guess what? You have certain stadiums in Canada that have altitude issues. If you play a match in Colorado, which is one of the places that are actually built for football because the Colorado Rapids are one of the flagship teams of the MLS. So they have a football stadium. You would be still dealing with altitude issues in Colorado. They call it, because if you look at the basketball stadium in Colorado, what do they call it? For the Denver Nuggets? The Mile High Stadium.
Oh, yes. Oh,
and
yes, because Canada's a higher altitude, no?
Now, granted, the one thing I did want to experience as a footballer, and Mexico experienced it, I wanted to play football in the snow. I've never experienced that before. I played football in the rain, sun at night. Never get snow before. Yes, but overall, I see that we'll eventually make. But again, just a simple formation change, and Jamaica can not just win matches, but like look like a football team. Canada has a team that they're actually not using to their best, and they're still achieving a lot. Anything else you learned from the international break before we move on?
I think that's about it.
And by the way, US fans, relax on yourself, no? Greg Berghalter is doing a good job, by the way. Shit. You don't wanna give him on some credit. He didn't even qualify for the last fucking turn. And Mexico has been whooping everybody's ass at the Gold Cup. So please give Greg Berghalter
Yeah, but
a chance.
traditionally Mexico is the best team in our region. So I don't know why.
No, that's why like
if you lose to Mexico, you lose to Mexico. Just suck it up and move along.
No, but it's not even like say you lose to Mexico. You beat Mexico in 2 competitions now.
Yeah, that too.
You win, you beat them, you beat the proper Mexico team in the the nation, yeah. And then both Mexico and think they brought B teams to the Gold Cup. Even though Mexico did bring a couple of players that they didn't that are from their first team, they still didn't bring a full-fledged team. And you still won, you beat them in the finals 1-0. So what is your complaints? Like there are a lot of people in the US that believe that Pulisic alone can carry this team to a World Cup win. And by the way, him not using Pulisic all the goddamn time is good for the squad because it forces other players to step the fuck up.
And he preserves Pulisic's fitness.
Exactly, and he's known to be an injury-prone player.
Yep.
So if you're getting results without Pulisic, shut the fuck up. So shout out to Pat McAfee because like he for some reason just hates Greg Berghalter. Like you guys can kindly shut the fuck up because like your team is doing well. Okay, so now we're moving on into what happened last weekend. What was the most exciting thing that you watched all weekend? In terms of the matches.
In terms of the matches?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't lie to you. And, I had fun watching United get hammered.
Yeah, but those are... All right, go on. Tell me why. Come on. No, because we need a like... Because I know that on this show, we take the show very seriously. And sometimes we don't have any like... Yeah,
no, I had fun watching. I celebrated each goal like it was a final. Because at some point you have to ask yourself, right? As I remember at the start of the season, United fans were saying that, oh, Chelsea just was so lucky and it's luck that got them the Champions League and they're going to be fighting for 4th this season. I'm like, keep going. And then, bam, look where we are, look where you are. It's funny. And, football is always, they used to always say like the ball is drawn, but football is a sport where if you are cocky, if you are overconfident, it always finds a way to come back and bite you in the ass.
Exactly. Like, again, I feel, who I feel sorry for?
Who?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, because I think you must be asking yourself, what the hell did I get myself into?
Again, Pep would have him. Again, Pep would literally
top of the league and be smiling right now.
Him wouldn't have to do shit. Pep would have just a smile and a laugh right now. Now I'm have to figure out who for using in front three. Again, this Pep team looks like 2012, 2013 Barca when Pep ran out of ideas and literally just couldn't get past Chelsea.
But in beat me. Because Tuchel decided to. I don't know why Tuchel decided to be defensive against him.
I'm in the Champions League already. This the league match and I give one of these but the league match I've done in the Champions League already.
I say I lost to keep their foot on the ground.
Yeah. And again, I keep telling people like this team looks like when even when you remember when Pep was at Bayern in that final season, and there was just nothing more he could teach the players.
Yeah, I think he has taken, like, unless he rips up the entire squad, I think both Klopp and Pep has carried their respective teams
as far as
they can.
That's why I didn't mention Liverpool, because I think they peaked.
I think they peaked
Yes.
in the year that they won the league. I think that was it for them.
Yeah, that was it. No, they're still going to look entertaining. But look on Jurgen Klopp's Dortmund team. After they won their 2 titles and they lost to Bayern in the Champions League, but they peaked.
Mm-hmm.
If they did not win that Champions League final against Bayern, that was it. And it wasn't like the team got less entertaining to watch. No, they were just burnt out from the playing style.
And then, when you look at it, it's funny that, like, United is a conundrum, man. Even you take away the fan bias and all of that from it, when you look at United, you have to ask yourself, the club is run successfully on the business side, but the footballing side is a complete mess. Now, Ole is a legend at the club. He delivered the goal that gave them the treble, and he's a legend at the club. He's well respected by fans and players. But
should be Norway's coach.
You cannot be sentimental. There's no place for sentimentality in a results-based industry.
Exactly.
And this applies to every single sport.
Yes. Can I give an example? Just to the people. Peyton Manning, who has won multiple Super Bowls, got literally cut from the Indiana Colts while he was the best quarterback in the league.
Exactly. You cannot be sentimental. Whether you are a track and field athlete and you've been with this coach who has taken you to the top, but your performances have dropped and you don't know what to do anymore, you cannot be sentimental. You can cut ties with someone on a pure sporting business level and still maintain a personal relation. Chelsea made that decision with Lampard.
Exactly.
Lampard is probably considered one of, if not the biggest legend at the club. One of 2 biggest legends. It is really between him and Terry. They have overtaken the Peter Osgoods and the Jimmy Greaves and the Tommy Dochertys and all of these people from the 60s.
Yeah, and the only reason why Terry really has the edge is because he's an academy boy.
He's exactly
the only reason why he has an edge. That's the only reason why that's the only reason he has an edge over Lampard. Because Lampard is also our highest goal scorer.
Yep, our highest leading goal scorer.
So again,
the reason why Terry has that edge is because he's Chelsea through and through. Came through the academy. As the English commentators like to say, he went through the system.
Can I make a quick comment? Can I ask you a quick question? Yeah. Now that Terry is no longer the assistant at Aston Villa, do you think he should take over Nottingham Forest as the coach to get this to start his own coaching career? The reason why I picked Nottingham Forest.
I'm not sure, because right now Terry is in Nigeria with Torre and Roberto Carlos. If you're following Twitter pages in.
Yeah.
But he's still he's learning coaching, I would say, lack of a better word. He's still analyzing matches and stuff. So I think he's doing what Lampard is doing, where he's going around talking to other coaches, learning from other coaches. Because
but he's been doing that for a long time now. He's not just
told us that that's what he's doing. That's what Lampard is doing. They even said that he even called Tuchel, and him and Tuchel spoke tactics and formations and stuff over the phone.
I'm not saying no to that, but what I was saying
I think both Terry and Lampard are surveying the footballing landscape, really, because I think they're both looking for the right job with the right team. Like, how Lampard got Derby as his first job, which was a good team in a good place, good players, right? You won't be fighting relegation battle.
That's why I
Yeah,
chose
you
Nottingham
probably
Forest. Hold on, hold on.
mid-table.
Let me at least explain why I chose Nottingham Forest. They're still in the championship. They would have a decent team. He could have a pipeline of Chelsea youngsters coming in on loan with his relationship with Chelsea and with his relationship with Aston Villa. He can probably get players from there too. And like you said, it would be his first job, like at Derby with Lampard, where he could develop both as a coach. He could still develop as a coach without worrying about relegation too much. Because Rooney took the Derby job at a wrong time. Lampard took it at the right time.
Yes.
Rooney tried to save a club that was getting relegated either way from the championship. That was a bad job to take in the first place.
It was.
So that's why I chose Nottingham. And he has a relationship with Nottingham Forest. Remember, the only other football club he played for outside of Chelsea was the loan spell that we had him on, that 1 year loan spell to Nottingham.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that his relationship with that club, he would still be able to take loanees from Chelsea and Aston Villa because he has a relationship with those two clubs. And
similar to
like
what
you said,
did at Derby.
With Derby, exactly. That's why I'm just throwing that out there. I was just asking that question. If you think that you still think he should travel the world for now, and
yes, I do. Honestly, if I was Terry, I would be booking trips into Germany and into South America to learn, especially South America, because a lot of persons in Europe underrate the tactics that happens in South American football. And if you want to learn how to play aggressive attacking style football,
like
with aggressive pressing, you go to South America because these people use up the entire width of the pitch.
Everything.
And when you mean aggressive pressing traps and exposing teams in transitions, now granted, if you want to stay in Europe, then you go to the Bundesliga to learn about transitions. Because every Bundesliga, every team in Germany, from the Bundesliga right down to the 5th division in German football, every team has mastered how to hit you in transitions.
That's why even though Gladbach has never won a title, people are asking me, yo, Mario, why are you such a Gladbach fan when you grew up watching Bayern? It's because I can't keep my eyes off them.
I cannot
keep my eyes off them.
No teams in the Bundesliga plays boring defensive football, They don't have no Burnleys or Stoke Cities in the Bundesliga,
None, like you can watch a Bundesliga match. The other day I was watching, what the name, Firth or Girth or whatever the name, the new team that got promoted.
Team, yes.
They were entertaining. They weren't boring. Even the other one, Union Berlin. Like I enjoyed that Union Berlin match. No team
plays defensive football in the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga, the fans come in to be entertained, and the clubs just respect that the fans come to be entertained. So if the fans know, say, well, we're gonna go toe-to-toe with Bayern and we'll probably get 5, but at least you're gonna enjoy our weekend day out, drink some beer and laugh in the stadium, like regardless of the result.
And you're still, even if your team loses, you're watching entertaining football because your team are gonna actually play against Bayern. Even if Bayern are just better than them, they're still going to put out an effort to play them.
And it's not like they're going, we're just going to throw the kitchen sink at Bayern. No. There are times when they will be defensive, but when they get the ball, then the first instinct is not
kick the ball up the field.
Kick the ball. No, we're going to try and play through the channels and get out there. And again, Bayern got another wake up call because they lost to Augsburg, was it?
Yeah, Augsburg.
And again, this is Nagelsmann inconsistencies what plagued him at Leipzig. Seems to have been following him at Bayern, but
no, even half an time.
I'll give him time. But Nagelsmann should know, and he should really know. It's Oliver Kahn, the coach, the CEO right now. So Kahn is a patient man, but Kahn has very, very high standards, and if those standards are not met, then somebody you will be fired. You will be held accountable to it.
And Khan, in all fairness, like Khan was known to be a hot-headed keeper when he was a player. I know he's become a much
exactly.
I know he's become a much calmer man as he's gotten older, but still, like, this is a man who isn't like afraid for run somebody from the perimeter.
No, he isn't, and it is the same. It's the same how he runs Bayern. There are standards that must be upheld, and if those standards are not met, it's like with Xavi coming into Barca. I remember you were saying it was Aguero who was talking about you show up to training an hour early and the lights are off and nobody's
and he's the only one
and,
showing up an hour early. He's literally the only one showing up.
Xavi first day back at the club is like, yo, all players must be here 90 minutes before training starts, and
why do you think he brought
all
back Dani
staff
Alves?
must be here 2 hours before training begins, and you're like, wait, hold on, what?
Because that's how it used to be under Guardiola, which is why I brought it up to you. That's why I brought it up to you. How they grew up. What did Ibrahimovic say about Barcelona's players when he was there?
What did he say?
They're a bunch of schoolboys. They listen to everything the fucking coach says. They're a bunch of schoolboys. That's what, go and look that up. Zlatan quoted himself. He said that Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi are a bunch because they're disciplined. They don't talk back to the coach. They don't, I am the biggest guy in the room. They don't do that shit. When Pep was angry at Man City crowd, what did he say to all of them when he came into the dressing room angry? Nobody pout, nobody make up them face. None of you guys are Lionel Messi.
I remember that. I remember that.
I don't want to see nobody else. No, Lionel Messi. Him alone can vex up him face in my dressing room. And Zlatan said it. They were like schoolboys. Like they didn't have they didn't have personality. Like they didn't. Messi is a quiet person. Iniesta is a quiet person. The most outspoken of them is Xavi.
Yes.
And he's a marine biologist or microbiologist, one of the two. So Zlatan said it himself. They're schoolboys. They were raised to be like disciplined.
I think that that actually says something, because we know when Pep stepped into that dressing room, his first order of business was getting rid of Dino and Deco.
Yeah.
Out the door. That was his first order of business. And at that time, Cruyff, God bless his soul, was still alive. And you know what they say now. If Cruyff appoints you, and when at the time Ronaldinho was the best player in the world, and when Pep said I want you out, you don't.
Cruyff never complained.
Back talking. There's no back talking.
Cruyff never complained. Cruyff said, cool. Why you don't want him at the club? He's a bad influence to the dressing room because of his party lifestyle. All right then, send him to AC Milan. Fuck it.
Out the door. Like
that was Ronaldinho. That was Ballon d'Or winning
at the time. This was the best player in the world at the time. I was like, okay, through the door. Goodbye. I mean, when Pep's like you said in that city, and we stepped into the dressing room, nobody make up their face. You're not Lionel Messi, because the only player who even has the right
to make up their face in my dressing room
is him.
I don't know the bullshit from my field,
and he didn't do it. So it's like Pep is telling them that, yo, if the best player I have coached
can't make up him face in my dressing room.
Can't make up his face in the dressing room.
Who the fuck are sound? Who are you? Who is your sound?
Because none of you are this good.
Yeah. And we saw this. Well, not Leon. We saw
this. That's back to that disciplined nature. And I didn't, unlike before when you were talking about it, I probably didn't get to the full extent as to what you were trying to say. But when I went through those Xavi codes, and I look back at the time when we had Terry and Lampard and drugs at the training ground.
Yeah.
Like Zola said that Lampard would stay 2-3 hours after training.
I work on him game. Remember, Lampard was not a talent.
Free kicks, his penalties.
Lampard was not a talent.
Terry would be at the training ground from 6 in the morning, not leaving until 7.
All right, let's use John Terry as an example. What did he say when Jose came back to the club and instated him into the team? Him stop eating dinner and go run.
Yeah.
When Jose called him, literally stop eating dinner with his wife, put on the bottle, put on the glass of wine, and go for a run.
And funnily, he made a post on Twitter the other day when he was having some tea and biscuits in English, and Antonio Conte commented on it on the picture. Remember, John, only one biscuit. And Terry said something to the effect of, the gaffer still watching what I eat, but I was the most fittest under Antonio
Let's go to the Rafa
Conte.
Benitez quote. Well, let's get to the Rafa Benitez quote. What did Terry say to Rafa Benitez on the sideline? No, coach, it's not that we're not playing with the right amount of intensity. You didn't train us with intensity.
Exactly.
The training wasn't intense enough. So it's not that we came into the match without the intensity. You didn't train us hard. The training sessions weren't intense enough. So we came into the match with the same thing.
Attitude, the same.
Exactly.
And it's funny when you hear Tuchel, when Chelsea loses a match, or even when we win a match but we barely win it, what is the first word Tuchel says out of his mouth? When we perform good, the intensity was right.
Yeah.
When we perform badly, we did not match the other team's intensity. And what do we know from the Sean Dyches and the Sam Allardyces of this world? Where when you are playing against a team that has better players than you need to up your physical levels.
Yeah.
You need to up your intensity. And what do we know about Barcelona in these past couple of years?
No intensity.
The intensity
no
has
idea.
not been there.
No, exactly, because Guardiola had a 7-second press rule. You have to get by the ball in 7 seconds. If Xavi, Iniesta, or Busquets lose the ball, Barcelona has 7 seconds to get back the ball, or the play was a failure. Funny enough, there's some Jamaican coaches who actually try to do that with like a lot of the youth teams, which is why Jamaica's schoolboy football is better than sometimes the Premier League to watch.
Yes, because they
were coaches.
A similar strategy.
Yes, exactly.
If you lose the ball, win it back immediately.
Yeah, you have to get it back.
And if that time passes, then you fall back into your defensive shape. And then, like we heard from Frankie that, he had to go out and get his physical trainer from Ajax, fly him over to Barcelona because
the training intensity was none
intense enough.
Exactly, there was none. That's why I said it was a culture thing. All of these rules that Xavi are emplacing, I remember you guys were talking in the WhatsApp group that we have, and I don't remember if it was Jevon who was like, isn't this standard for most football clubs? Yes, it's fucking standard for most football clubs, but this club wasn't doing it. So no, Xavi have to make a big deal about it.
Because I remember that they're talking on ESPN FC, and Stevie Nicol was like, yes, the reason why you come to training an hour and a half before training starts is because you get yourself into the gym, you do some light work. By the time training begins, your body is not ready for training.
Exactly.
When you arrive 10 minutes before training starts, there's no time for your body to prepare itself for what is about to come. And then you maybe can be like, that's why you're having so much damn injuries.
Exactly, because if you're not training at a certain intensity, and then you play a match at a high pace level, you don't think you're gonna pull up. You don't think your calf are gonna pull. Because trust me, when you go into a Liverpool match in the Champions League or a Bayern match in the Champions League, or a Roma match in the Champions League, you think they're training at the same slow ass pace that you're training at? You think they're playing football at the same slow ass pace you want to play at?
And
but we have Lionel Messi.
But we saw what Liverpool did to Barcelona when they
saw what
a Premier League
Roma give us 5,
exactly.
5, Liverpool give us 7 over 2 legs, and Bayern give all 8 of them one time. Shit, Bayern even score a own goal for make you feel good about yourself.
Because you could not match the intensity levels of your opposition.
Exactly. Make Liverpool think they're actually better than we as a football team. No, you have a bunch of athletes who can run that pace.
Yeah, what Liverpool did was they said, okay, you're at Anfield, we are going to bring you into the Premier League.
Yeah. We're going to make this a Premier League match.
You decided that, okay, yeah, come, we want to play Liverpool at a Premier League pace.
But you're not sure at a Premier League place. You know why Pep teams could at least keep up with Chelsea, even though they're not a Premier League team, because Pep still kept the intensity of the team. So even if we couldn't outright beat Barca, like we can still match them pace to pace. Same thing for the Inter team that beat us. Yeah, we lost to Jose's Inter, but it's not like them beat the dog shit out of it. Like we were there.
No, you were still throwing punches. I
Brother,
remember
Bayern
there
not
was
killed from
a
first half.
there was a commentator, I can't remember which match it was. And the commentator said if this was a boxing match, the ref would have already stopped the match. The match would have been over in the first 15 minutes.
Exactly, because unfortunately for football, you have to stand up for the entire 90 minutes and fight same way.
But I feel like there's something fundamentally wrong with the coaching in Spain. Well, I won't say the coaching, but are the two top clubs in Spain because, like you said the last podcast, Madrid doctor still has to retire. He must fly, go all the way to London, for him old doctor, where patch him up and tell him, say, all right, go and go play football.
Exactly. Now, the funny thing is Barcelona used to be a place that like people send their players to for like certain injuries. So I don't know what is going on
it's
there.
It's the other way around. Dembele had to leave
Barca
to go to Germany
to
get treatment.
Exactly.
So I don't know what the hell is going on.
And here's the thing, Atletico Madrid, and here's the thing, Atletico Madrid has everything correct, but they need to stop playing that style of play. It is too intense now. It is burning up.
That is stopping them.
Because guess what? Simeone is Jurgen Klopp with more time. His teams play at a high intensity, a high press level, a good counter-attacking style. You may not like the defensive part of it, but trust me, when them lick on the counter, them look like a tiki-taka.
No, but it's the reason why Atletico Madrid is such a good match for Premier League teams, and why Premier League team finds it hard to beat them, because it's literally playing another Premier League match.
Yeah. Because again, I cannot remember. I don't remember the full name of the brother. I think his name is Ortega. He's huge
assistant coach.
I wouldn't say. I don't know if he's moved to assistant now. I don't know if he's moved to. He was a physical trainer.
Yeah,
he was the head of like the physical training.
I know that. Man. I know that. When Atletico Madrid players talk about them preseason running up hills.
But Vieta said it. Luciano Vieta said it. It's not that I couldn't manage the playing. It's not that I couldn't make it at Atletico in terms of skill. Because again, Simeone was giving him playing time. Simeone played him wherever he wanted to play. Vieta admitted it to Simeone and to the world. Yo, I could not keep up with the training and the pace of everything. It was way too intense for me. I know a lot of players are being burnt out. Saul look like him barely have legs. Saul look like him can't run anymore because again, like when you play under Simeone's style of play for so long, it burns you out. And then Simeone has always won trophies for Atletico, so it's hard for the club to just fire him. And they're not going to do this either. And they're not going to fire him without an actual replacement.
Yes, because they're not United, who, when you should have fired Ole, when Conte was available, you left him there. You should have fired him before during the international break. Like, there comes a time when as a football coach, you will always believe you can turn it around.
Yeah.
Right? Joey Morris gave an interview, said that him and Lampard saw the next 8 matches and felt that they could turn it around. Yeah. But Marino was like,
time for those couple losses now. We need somebody who can win now.
And like persons criticize Chelsea and persons criticize how we do our thing, but it has worked for us because.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. It has only worked for us. That's the problem.
It has only worked for us.
It has only worked for us.
The reason why it worked for us is our board has made lots of mistakes, right? But the board also builds the squad in a very specific way. Like if a manager comes in and wants a specialist, we really buy specialist players that only can function in one playing style.
Chelsea has always bought players who are very adaptable. They can play them in different positions. Most of our midfielders could have played all three midfield roles. Mikel could play central mid as a deep line playmaker, as a defensive midfielder. SCN was a box-to-box midfielder that we use as a defensive midfielder.
Exactly.
David Luiz, defensive midfield centre back. Ivanovic, right back centre back. Ashley Cole, left back, left wing. Bossingwa, any other fullback positions, and if necessary, you play him at centre back.
You could put him, you could even put him further forward. I remember there's a match where we played him as a right winger.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, we've never had player. We played Ryan Bertrand as a left winger in the Champions League final.
Exactly. So when Roman has very high standards for anything that he does in his business and especially for Chelsea. And granted, Roman has calmed down a bit. He has not been as trigger happy as he once was. He actually gives managers time to, because if it was Roman up old, Lampard would have been gone a lot earlier than when.
Of course.
He gives you time to change it.
There was a time if Roman see you win 10 matches, like, leave.
Again, Ancelotti got fired in the tunnel for finishing second.
Exactly.
He won the league the season
before. Was it Avram Grant who won the FA Cup with us or Hiddink?
It was Hiddink. Hiddink won the FA Cup.
And still never get a job permanently.
No. And Hiddink and Roman is very good friends. Avram Grant, very good friends. Avram Grant is a very, very good friend of Roman. And what happened to him when he started to
he fired him, and then he still recommended players to Chelsea. Because Alexander Mitrovic from Fulham, Avram Grant did take over Partizan Belgrade, the Serbian club, and he recommended Alexander Mitrovic to us. And you remember the guy that Liverpool bought, Lazar Markovic, the winger?
Yeah.
And then when they had Brendan Rodgers, and they were just buying a bunch of wingers, like we were supposed to get Lazar Markovic. We chose not to buy him because, again, we knew that, like, the Premier League, unless you play him as a number 10, the Premier League wasn't for him.
And then
he couldn't play as a winger in the Premier League. You'd have to use him as a number 10 or a false 9.
You see, the biggest difference between Chelsea and United is Marina. Marina is someone who has a business background, as she was a personal assistant. And as a personal assistant, she has learned, she has studied, and she now won the best director in World Football Award yesterday.
Yeah, she deserved that.
And this is someone who came from a business background, a secretarial background.
Yeah.
And she has studied the game. She has learned the game. She has taken the time to understand the game.
And that's what separates her from a lot of the others.
In Drogba, when the rest of the board wanted Drogba to leave, she put her neck out there for Drogba, gave him that new contract. And what did Drogba do 3 years later?
But even still, like, Jose had to convince them to buy Drogba. Because I remember Drogba at Marseille, like, Drogba was one of the most world-renowned, like, strikers.
But as you said, Jose said, Roman, don't talk.
Bring him in. Yeah, just bring him in.
Just sign the check. And what separates Marina is that she's not just a smart businesswoman.
No, she studied the game.
She was the one that negotiated the night deal for Chelsea. She was the one that negotiates a lot of our the Yokohama deal that we got, the search.
Yeah, the Yokohama tires.
She was the one that negotiated that deal. So even though she's very good on the business side, she has taken the time to learn the football. And she understands that, you want to know what? We have a squad of very good young players. And there is a certain coach who is available who I wanted to come here, but he chose PSG instead. And she said, you know what? A world-class coach is available. He just went to the Champions League last season.
Yeah,
the reason why he got fired was because him and the sporting director were on two different pages. Yeah. And what did she do? She called Lampard and stuff. He says to Lampard, you know what? You're a legend at the club. And we all love you here. You are one of 3 players who could call Roman on his personal cell phone, who sit in the director's box. But the club is bigger than you. She fired him.
Again, what did I ask? What did I ask you when Lampard got hired? Are you not just going
And
to
do
give
we have the
him time?
patience?
Not do we have the patience for him to grow as a coach?
But and like you said it in the second season when the transfer window was opened and all of that. You said it, like you were the only person that said it. You said Lampard has to challenge this season. You like everybody was like, oh, the 3-year plan. You said no, Lampard has to challenge this season because now you have spent Roman's money.
Yeah, like Pep said in the interview the other day, like what kind of project or challenge or 3-year plan you talk about? Football is a results based game. If you get results, we give you more time.
And it hurt a lot of Chelsea fans. A lot of Chelsea fans are upset.
That's why I asked the question, Is that a reason I asked the question?
Chelsea fans. A lot of fans were upset because this is Lampard you're talking about. This is close to the heart of for persons like me and you who grew up watching this guy wearing this number 8 shirt. All of our best memories, Lampard is a part of it.
Exactly.
And Czech was on the board, and Czech also said, Lampard, you have to go. And these guys were teammates.
But that's why I asked the question, That's why I kept asking the question, Chelsea. It's not just about if you're willing to let the youngsters develop. No. With a coach like Lampard in the situation that Lampard is in, are you willing to let Lampard develop as a coach as well? That was my biggest question because I knew that Lampard wasn't immediately ready.
So we've looked at because in the grand scheme of things, and in the big picture, United allowed Ole to suffer.
Exactly.
It's not you could see that from that 5-0 at Liverpool, he should have been gone.
He should have gone. That was a moment. You get 5 out of theater of dreams. That brother that couldn't go on with Sir Alex, so somebody would have forget. Every player would have forget it.
You allowed him. You gave him time, but all you did was tighten the rope around his neck.
You give him the rope hang himself, and he never have nothing else for the fight but hang himself.
And instead of saying, yo, come make we cut the rope and take down the body. No, you literally left him there, make him dangle.
No, make him rotten. No, make him rotten. Make him sit up there and rotten.
Like you could see, the players were no longer accepting anything from Ole.
Yeah, any from my instruction.
The players were no longer was looking for anything from Ole. You saw that, and it wasn't even a fact that the players them don't care or them want Ole to get fired. He has carried them as far as he could. And it doesn't matter the instructions, none of that just wasn't ticking anymore.
Again, there comes a time where a player, I give Pep this credit for when he left Bayern. There comes a time, there was no reason to leave Bayern. You were winning trophies every year, not just one trophy. You were winning all 3 German trophies every goddamn year. And you were competing at the Champions League at the highest level. MSN stopped you from winning a Champions League. Literally MSN. And nobody could stop them at the time. Shit, Juve take 4 from them. Juve get it worse. 3 in the finals.
So there comes that. So and a lot of United fans were them like a lot of them were saying Ole should resign. But as a football man, as a club that he loves,
you know what resign?
He's going to say, I can turn it around. I can turn it around.
Or at least until the end of the season.
But just like how when you're out there in the field or in carpentry and welding or whatever you're doing, and you see someone digging the hole deeper, making the situation worse, they need someone to put them hand on them shoulder and say, it's okay.
Yeah, because again, and we're also men. Like we don't like the idea of I gave up.
Because him resigning is literally saying,
I give up. Couldn't do enough. Yeah, like I couldn't do enough. As a man, you always are going to find a solution.
Someone to put for put him a hand on him shoulder for say, Ole,
Yo, you just
it's
have to take that.
okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, you just have to take that earlier. And in all fairness, if I was
Just
Norway
put up
right
the
now,
tunnel. Just put
if
up
I
the
was
tunnel.
Norway, if I was Norway right now, I would put Ole in charge of Norwegian national team. The playing style that he tries to execute is better for cup football.
It is.
You notice that they almost is which final him did go?
Europa League. And he lost
No,
a
man.
penalty shootout to this goalkeeper.
The Europa League final?
No, yes, Europa League.
Yeah, Europa League final. Europa League final. Yeah, Villarreal. Yeah, it met up.
And you lost on a penalty shootout because the goalkeeper a penalty. And if your goalkeeper miss a penalty, then there's none.
That means it go right down to the last man.
That is like you're splitting hairs.
Yeah, like that went down to the last man. So
like that goes either way. You're splitting here, you know, like you can't really, because Ole has stabilized the club. He did what definitely. Lampard did. After Lampard came in and stabilized the club and allowed the fans to reconnect back with the club and the players at the club. Ole did that.
And that's what I fear for Xavi. You remember when Barca was hiring the Kike Setiens and even Ronald Koeman?
Yeah.
What did I keep saying during that time? I don't need them to win the Champions League. You need them to stabilize things. Stop the ship from sinking, sir. Just plug the hole them and make sure we don't sink so that we reach a land. When we reach a land, we can fix up back the thing properly and think, no, Xavi have to go swim out in one boat. Xavi left one boat in Saudi Arabia and now swim come back to Catalonia to come make sure so the ship not sink.
I forgot patch up the walls there while the ship still left on the sea.
Exactly, but I said that's why I'm gonna say Coleman and Setien should have never been fired. You should have given him time into the season.
But I think Coleman should have also been given time to end of the season as well.
No, I agree with that as well.
I don't understand firing him right now because
he has a bad reputation in La Liga. He has a bad reputation in La Liga.
But at the end of the day, what more you expect him to do? Like,
that's what I am saying.
What do
that's what I am saying.
Because if you were going to bring in Xavi, they should have might as well bring in Xavi from the start of the season.
Leon, understand that.
Why are you doing mid-season? Because where on God's green earth Xavi are going to?
For the same reason, well, not for the same reason why Chelsea did hire Lampard before he was ready. He could. You just said it a while ago. You know, he adds back the fans to the club. So
but people are behaving like Koeman isn't a legend at Barca.
No, but he has a bad reputation as a manager in La Liga. That's what I'm saying. Koeman fucked up his reputation in La Liga from his Valencia spell. As a matter of fact, there's a right winger named Joaquin. You know him.
Mm-hmm.
Him used to play for Valencia during that great Valencia era. David Silva and Juan Mata, Pablo Hernandez, David Villa. Joaquin was one of the right wingers in that squad. Joaquin said when Koeman was hired for Barca, Joaquin came out in the media and said, yo, I would not hire Koeman to be my kit manager, meaning the jersey them, he wouldn't even put Koeman in charge of the jersey them. Because that same superstar studied Valencia team, Koeman is the one that brought them up. Now, granted, some bigger clubs came in. Barca took David Villa. Juan Mata went to Chelsea. David Silva went to Man City. But who broke up that dressing room was Koeman. So he had a bad reputation in La Liga from his Valencia spell. Because you were given a Champions League level Valencia squad that were about to take over the world and Spain, and you make everybody leave. You make Barca take David Villa. You make Pablo Hernandez go to Swansea. You make David Silva there Man City, Juan Mata there Chelsea, and there was somebody, Jordi Alba eventually ended up at Barca. So a part of all of that team, like a lot of people were still angry at Koeman for that. So like La Liga teams don't have a good reputation. He doesn't have a good reputation in the league overall. So Barca overreacted and said, all right, instead of just make this brother steady the ship until the season done. Because listen, if Koeman finished 4th with Barca this year, it would have been a success. Because would have still been a Champions League place. He brought up a lot of youngsters, even though he let go a lot of them. in all fairness, that's because the club
He
could pay
kept the
them.
good ones. He kept
No,
the good ones.
no. He let go of the good ones as well.
Yeah, but that's because the club they
Could have paid them.
weren't
Because the
going
club
to
could have paid
sign
them.
anyway.
No,
So
no,
in
they
the
were
size
going.
of
No,
what?
stop. No, stop. They were going to sign. Barca couldn't sign them because of the financial situation.
That's what I'm saying. So he said, you know what? Let's get some money out of them instead of them leaving for free.
No, they did leave for free. It's only one person who
Well,
get
yes,
money out
some
of.
left for free. Yes.
No, it's literally one alone will get money from. It was Moriba. Moriba will get 16 million. Yeah, we'll get 60 million. Everybody else left for free.
Well, yeah, bring some, you lose some.
No, him could have controlled that. It's not Coleman I blame for that. I don't blame Coleman for that. That was something that Bartomeu did. Like, I can't even blame Laporte for it either. I cannot blame the new board for it either. It was a situation like them. They did the best with the situation they could.
Still want to know how him in a prison yet, you know.
With that. No, Rosell, I think.
Bartomeu.
I think Rosell.
Yeah,
Oh, Bartomeu.
Him not join him.
Him. I don't understand that neither. But they must know.
I told you, if this was any business, if this was any corporation, the government investigate him and lock him up.
You realize that him used to control the Marca magazine?
Right.
He's a part of the reason why it was propaganda that kept him in the running. He controlled
when you look
the
at
media
the records,
Catalonia.
when you look at this agent getting 10 million, this coat getting $10 million.
Exactly.
No, that, and nobody gonna say, yo, this look fishy.
Why did Barca sign a deal with Rakuten?
Well,
because Coleman, because of sorry, not Coleman, Bartomeu.
Bartomeu.
Exactly. Liverpool give Arsenal 4 that they expected. City beat Everton 3 expected.
But you know, low key, Arteta is actually doing a good job.
Oh no, I've never. Again, he's doing the best with the squad he has. Arsenal fans are pretending like he gonna give him some kind of world class squad and supposed to win trophy with.
And he has actually won a trophy already with them.
True. What is it? The FA Cup or
the FA Cup.
Yeah. And then win the Community Shield, right? Or them did lose the Community Shield?
They lost the Community Shield.
All right, cool. But you want him even win a FA Cup?
They are performing. No, I think they won the Community Shield. I think Aubameyang scored 1-0.
All right, well, cool.
The point is, he's after a horrible start to the season. The players that he has brought in is really performing for him. Ramsdale, Smith Rowe, Saka. The players are really stepping up.
Odegaard are doing things same way.
Odegaard are doing things. Aubameyang is still here. It's good. The board, like the board kept faith with him. The board said that, you haven't seen his players yet, the injuries and stuff, but
no, but even that, but that's why I said like what Arsenal are doing with Arteta is what Lampard would have asked Chelsea to do. The only thing is that Arsenal is not in the same place as Chelsea. Chelsea were a team that needs to compete now, or are in a position to compete now, and Arsenal has the time to give Arteta time to grow as a coach as well as growing squad.
They don't expect him to compete or to win.
Yeah, the Champions League fight for what the fuck you worry about that for?
But Chelsea has a squad
that can win the Champions League.
And they went out to win it.
Exactly, because we needed a manager instantly. Exactly.
So
Lampard needed more time as a coach to grow as well. And that's something that unfortunately we couldn't give him.
No, but again, at Chelsea, we are not the club where you come for that.
Exactly, that's my point. You wouldn't give people time.
You don't come to us to grow, and no, when you come here to win, and Lampard knows that. I think that's why he said he has no hard feelings, because he knows the culture. The culture at the club is to win.
Lampard wins so many trophies with like 10 different managers. Lampard wins so many trophies. Goose Hiddink, Avram Grant, Jose Mourinho twice, Antonio Conte, Carlo Ancelotti, Di Matteo, Luis Felipe Scolari, the Brazilian coach, and Claudio Ranieri.
So I guess
what if a coach at it?
It is a lot of coaches. And he understands the ruthless
AC Milan let me jump to the Serie A real quick because we don't have much. We have like 3 minutes
Milan.
left.
Yeah.
Like AC Milan get them ass beat by Fiorentina like Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Like man, like Fiorentina looked good against AC Milan. And this is my problem with AC Milan. And I don't know if you were warning me about last season because I see them as a team that has the ability to win the title, but they've never been in the position before. So it's like they keep dropping the ball at certain points.
Exactly. Like I said it. When it comes down to the in our title winning squad, there's something that you need to grind when things aren't going your way.
Yeah.
To stem the tide and to turn it into your favor. And it is an overused slogan, but it's what champions are made of. When you're performing badly, but you grind out a 1-0 win to secure 3 points. Milan doesn't have that. And they don't have a coach that has that.
I don't say they don't have that. I'm just saying that I think it's the first time they're been in that situation where that needs to come
you saw what
out.
happened to Inter under Conte the first time when they were in that position and they bottled it and Conte was furious.
Exactly. And they won the following season.
And they won the following because now they know what it tastes like.
All
because
right.
they say winning is addictive.
It is.
And they might not have won, but that bitter disappointment of barely missing out would have sting and it would have hurt. Because only at the end of the season, you're going to look back at these matches and be like, maybe if we had drawn that match, or maybe if we had just done a little bit more.
Granted, them, you see exactly what you're talking about in terms of championship mentality. They came out with that in the second half, and that's what got them the 2 goals. Now, granted, it was too late. You were already 3-0 down. So you turn on that championship mentality too late. That's why I said I think it's more experience thing. But you were right. They need that experience of getting close enough and tasting it, and then now grinding towards the title.
Like Chelsea went into the Rudiger said that after the bitter disappointment of the FA Cup, they went into the Champions League with a point to prove.
Again, we could have won that. But that's why I asked you. That's why I did ask you. Even though we lost the FA Cup to them, right? The FA Cup semi-final to them, right? What was the thing that I asked you? Yeah, the final. Sorry.
Yeah.
What did I ask you going into the Champions League final? Who would you like to face more, PSG or Man City? The reason why I told you Man City is because we could have won that final. Like I saw where we could have beaten them. Like we could have won. I was a bit more afraid of PSG because they just had too much attacking talent.
Yes, and at any moment in time,
something can happen.
Neymar or Mbappe can do
something spectacular.
The same thing that Hazard has done for us many, many times.
Exactly.
They are also capable of doing that, and they had 3 players who are very capable of doing that: Di Maria, Mbappe, and Neymar. So that is a big unknown. That's an X factor that you don't want to contend with, and you were right. And
maybe Icar and who knows,
was
maybe
the known content, was the known quantity.
Yeah, and maybe Icardi could have wake up from under wonder crutches and actually play some football again.
Exactly. So when a team has players who, at the flip of a dime, can flip that switch and turn it on.
Yeah, that was what I was afraid of. I don't fear that from City.
I think what you were really was, remember when Madrid stumbled them way to the Champions League final?
Yeah.
Against Juve and Liverpool.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been there.
In the final, they turned it on.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been there. Like I was pissed. Because those last 2 Champions Leagues that Zidane won. Like they didn't win it convincingly. Yeah.
But when they got to the final, it's like a switch flip, and
because they have Champions League players is what you're talking about. They have those players, even if they're not playing at their best during the league or throughout the year. When it comes championship time, they know how to flip that switch.
And you see it right now with United and Christie. Christie is literally keeping United in the Champions League.
Exactly.
Because and every Champions League match day, flip switch, and let's go.
And again, until they put Ronaldo alongside Cavani like Zidane did with Benzema, you're not getting the best out of this Man U team.
No, but even if you're not playing him alongside Cavani, You need to play him within a structure. City would have given him that structure.
Yeah.
Tuchel would have given him that structure. Klopp would have given him that structure.
Yeah.
You need to put him in a team that is and like you said, Ole has the tools at his disposal. He just fails. He just don't know put them. He just doesn't know how to arrange the puzzle properly.
Exactly. And I fear the same for Whitmore. Whitmore has the answers, because he's made the correct changes. You just need to make one more change. Stop forcing yourself to use a defensive midfielder because you're leaving us open at the back. USA could have beaten us by more, or even the match draw, right?
Yeah.
US, even though we scored the final goal, which should have been given, shout out to Damian Lowe. His father would have been proud of that goal because his father was a striker in the '98 World Cup. Anandelo. So his father was a part of the '98 World Cup team. So as a striker who was a target man, because his father was a target man with touch. Like his father could have still dribbled and stuff, but he was a person that could have dropped the ball in his chest, hold up play. And then you have Walter Boyd who can do the flicks and tricks. But yeah, like USA could have opened up us more and scored their opportunities as well. They had opportunities because again, we're using a 38-year-old box-to-box midfielder. Because when Javon Watson was at his best and playing in the MLS, was a box-to-box midfielder, just run up and down on the field. You're using a 38-year-old defensive midfielder because we don't have a defensive midfielder, but you don't need to use a defensive midfielder because you have enough players to play a 3-4-3. And not only can you coach this formation, you used to play it. The formation that we went to the World Cup with was a 3-4-1-2. It was 3 at the back, 4 across midfield. Ricardo Baby Gardner was on the left wing. Tapa Whitmore was the one guy in behind the 2 center forwards because he was an attacking midfield playmaker. He can have vision, passing, dribbling, flair, and he could give you some goals from midfield. That was Tapa's job in the Jamaican team. So he could play a 3-4-3 because he's even played in that formation. But he's still trying to fit square pegs into round holes, so he must know. We're kind of going over the time.
Yeah, but on that note, I think that's when you wrap it up, like square pegs, round holes. I think managers in world football don't want to do the simple thing, like Tuchel came in, he saw the Chelsea squad, he said, oh, okay, 3-4-3, let's go.
Yeah, sometimes you as a manager, because a lot of managers want that Pep Guardiola reputation. Oh, this is his playing style. This is his formation. This is the formation he likes to use.
You can execute your playing style with any formation. Formation just how you set up players from the field.
I know that, but what I'm saying is a lot of people want that reputation like Pep and Jose, where people know that, okay, this is my playing style. Instead of saying, okay, let me be adaptive to the squad that I've been given.
Oh, Alfie, I want to ask you a question. So when you
I'll wrap this up now. This done now. We'll see you guys next time on the 90th Minute Whistle podcast, and check out the Live Sports podcast on Patreon. It's $1 a month, right?
Yes.
$1 a month, and you'll get more. You'll get us more talking about sports like mixed martial arts. Boxing was exciting this weekend with Terence Crawford. So you'll get more of those sports. If you want to listen to us talk about just overall sports, the Olympics, Leon's an expert with athletics. Check us out on Live Sports. Type in Live Sports on Patreon and you'll see it's $1 a month for our sports podcast.